Hi y'all, it's Trudy and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to tattoo their ears, but first you're going to need a little pen like this. And right here is the book where I usually just write everything in. And I actually look up the date that they were born so I don't get that wrong. You're going to need a towel. And this is for tattooing their ears. Paper towels. Alcohol. This is their little kit that I keep everything in to try to stay organized. Gonna need some Q-tips, and I usually count them. How many ever bunnies I have, that's how many Q-tips I use. And yeah, then you're gonna need some cotton balls. Same thing, I count the cotton balls with how many ever bunnies I have. Oops, dropped that one. And then you're going to need the tattooing ink and an empty little container. I'll explain it later. Another empty container. Explain it later. And another empty container. Explain it later. And then you're going to need the tattooing pliers. I know they look nothing like pliers, but I think that's what they're called. And a little paintbrush. We'll explain it later. And then you're going to need, these are actually the letters A to Z and numbers 0 to 9. Ta-da! And in this little paper towel, this was from the last time I tattooed them, where I disinfected them. I just left them in there. And right now I'm going to organize and see which ones I need for this process. And ESTER'S, I think these are ESTER'S that I'm doing. So I think I'm going to need 6, 22, 23. I think that's when ESTER'S were born. And you're going to need that little piece of paper too. Let me double check. I got her book right here. And right here I'm just unscrewing the pliers. Yeah, 6, 22, 23 was ESTER'S. Her little tattooing. And this is a tricky thing to put those letters, if I'm using letters and numbers in there. I'm sitting there thinking about it because I always have to sit there and think of how I have to put them in there. It's a process I do in my head. I try to imagine the ear and which way it's going in. Yada, yada, yada. And I'm going to try to show you. Okay, the birth date is 6/22/23. And the things that I ordered, I only have, I think that's the Z, which I was fixing to explain to you. Yeah, that's the Z. Okay, it's 6/22/23. Well, I only had one, and my daughter had a kit, and I used her too. She lets me use her too out of hers. And so that's only 2 twos that I have. And if you think about it, it's 6/22/23. So I need 3 twos. So instead, that's another that's a 3. Is that a 3 or a 2? Oh, that's probably the 3. But anyway, I used a Z to replace one of those 2's because it's the closest thing I could get that looked like a 2. And that's the letter Z, obviously. And then what I'm doing right here is making sure they're in there, and I don't want them wiggly. So you want to try to get them as tight as possible, but you cannot screw that too tight right there. But you want to feel them, make sure they're going to wiggle a little bit, but not as much. And this is where the paper comes in at, because on this paper, okay, this is their ear, and I'm putting it in their ear. This is what I use to test it to make sure it's going to come out and make sure all the numbers and letters are turned right. There's their little ear, and I'm tattooing their ear. Poor little babies. And I'm making sure it's done correctly. Yep. You see 620 Z23 is what that reads, but that Z does really look like a 2. So, good job for me. I think it's actually a pretty smart idea. But eventually I am going to order some more numbers from them. I probably need about another 2-pack. I don't know, maybe just 1 pack. I don't know yet. Okay, in this little container right here, I am going to put the ink in there. That tape actually came with the package, and I just recycle it every time. Knock on some wood. It's pretty hard to open because it sits there for a while. And if you look, see how the oil is on the top of that? It's sort of like paint, but it's ink. And I take this little paintbrush and I stir. You got to get that mixed in really, really well. And I'm probably thinking in my head, okay, I got 5 babies to tattoo. How much ink am I going to need? Because I do not like to waste. And once you get it out of there, you cannot put it back in that little container right there. You can add more to it, but if you use too much, you're just going to have to waste it. And I don't like wasting, so I try to guess about how much I'm going to need. And keep in mind, if I don't have enough, I can always add more to it. But you don't want to put it back in there because, just in case there's germs or something. I don't know. It's just something that I don't do, put it that way. I'm a germaphobe, so it's not going to happen with me. And by all means, if y'all put too much ink in there and y'all decide y'all want to put it back in there, that's fine. Just don't tell me about it, please. And then I try to scrape all of this off. And this is a process right here. I don't know what I was saying. Or trying to, I don't know. And then I close this. Make sure it's secure because you've got other things to do. And you still got to get the bunnies out. So you want to make sure that, because there's only a small amount of ink in there and you don't want it drying. And you want to make sure you get this lid on correctly and firmly. And then I'm recycling the tape again. That's some amazing tape because I've had this ink for a while. I mean a while, you guys. And I'm going to fiddle around with this tape and make sure it looks right. and it's on. And then in this little container, and this little container is my ink. I think I picked up the wrong container. Actually, this container. You want to add the alcohol. And you don't need that much. I think I fill them up halfway. And then I'll secure the lids on both of those containers, because I don't want them spilling. And close the alcohol. Wipe my hands because I do have some white bunnies and I do not want to get that ink all over their little bodies. And then I wipe my paintbrush really well because I'm done with it. Basically, I just use this to stir the ink to get it all mixed up. And I keep wiping basically until I don't see any more ink. And I set that to the side. And I think I'm just gonna rinse, clean my hands off with some alcohol to get all that ink off. I've learned from experience, if you leave the ink on there, and usually by this time I think I already have the bunnies out, but like if you don't get it all off, it comes off on the babies. And this is the little pen that I keep them in, and I had to go get this chicken wire to put over them. And I mark the date and time that I'm doing this. That goes in ESTER'S book for my records. I would really like to tell you guys how old they are. That would be nice to know. Actually, let me see if I can find that out. Hold on, you guys, just 1 second. Okay, I got the information. They are 5 weeks and 2 days old in this video. And what I just did, I wet that cotton ball with the alcohol. And then I just pick a bunny. Again, this is my tricolored one. Really good markings. And I used the left ear. And I clean it really well inside and out. And it doesn't matter if the ear is still, you know, a little wet from the alcohol. It's not going to hurt anything. I like doing it at this age because I put them back in with the mom, and I figured this out through experience. Usually I didn't do this until I was putting them in their grow out pen, but I realized if I put them back in with their mom, she actually cleans most of the tattooing ink, and it doesn't hurt them. It's not harmful for the bunnies at all, or the mamas. And then what I'm doing now is placing this, and you want to make sure the ear, now there is a vein in their ear, and I do hit it a lot. And I mean, you want to try to avoid the vein if you can, but it's really hard to avoid it because there's really not room in that ear at 5 weeks old. And another reason why I like doing it at this early, and usually it's 5 weeks. Now sometimes I think I do it at 4 weeks, and I just clamp down on it. No, I didn't get it. Okay. Because he moved. But I'm also checking to make sure there's not any, I don't know how to describe it, but sometimes when you put the pliers in there, like some of their skin can be overlapped like a wrinkle. And I try to make sure that doesn't happen, because then it'll, oh, there, I got it that time. And I usually just try to cover their faces. And to calm them down, I'll pet them for a few minutes, actually a couple seconds. And then I examine it to make sure. I don't know what I would do if I messed up. I think whenever I first did Esther, I think Esther's was the first one I ever did. And I actually think I messed up on hers and I had to redo it. And thank the Lord it turned out right. But really, if you mess up here, I don't know how you're going to correct it. I just got lucky with Esther's, and I try not to make any mistakes because I don't know how you're going to correct it. And I know they have a pen that you can do this with. Okay, I put a small amount of ink. That's all it takes. And then you just inspect the ear and you rub it on all of the imprints that's in that ear. And I sit there and try to rub it in really good. And I'm trying to figure out, does it matter? I mean, I apply a little bit of pressure whenever I'm doing this to try to get in the little grooves. But I'm just trying to figure out if it, oh, he's trying to get away. He needs to be calmed down a little bit more. But I think I was saying the reason why I try to do it at this young age is, and I know it probably hurts them a little bit, stings or something, or startles them, something. But I'm thinking if I can do it earlier, they probably won't remember it when they get older. I don't know. That's just what I think. This is my other little try. This is why I didn't want any of that ink on my hands, because it will stain their fur, but it'll eventually come off. But I would just rather not do that. And I'm taking another cotton ball. I'm not using the same one, even though they're from the same litter, and I really don't think, they have anything to pass on. And again, I'm cleaning the ear. Really good. One of them jumped out. Oh my gosh. I promise y'all, that has never happened the whole time I've ever done this process. It jumped out of the little pen that I had. It jumped out earlier. I don't know. Well, actually, I didn't even notice it in the videos, but it finally came back around and I just grabbed it, and I probably upset this one by doing that. I just don't like grabbing them like that, but it was in the area, so I grabbed it and put it back in there. Anyway, back to what I was doing. And it's really important that the lighting is good. Goodness, they are just going crazy. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Usually it's not this complicated. Probably because I'm videoing it and I'm trying not to make any mistakes, but I'm sorry, baby. I think it's bleeding. Oh yeah, it is. And I just take the alcohol wipes. And I try to use the same one that I cleaned the ear with. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. And I learned if you cover their face up, like to where they can't see anything, it helps calm them down. I actually saw that on a TV show. A girl with the horses. I'm sure y'all know who I'm talking about. She trains them and everything. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it on here yet, so that's why I'm not throwing out any shows. But she trains the horses, and I'm forever waiting on the show to come back on a new season. Oh, I got some blood on the fur. And another reason why it's a good idea to do them at this age, when you're putting them back in with the mother, see the blood, I'm not going to get all that blood off of him. But whenever I put them back in with the mom, she will actually clean that, especially the blood. She will clean all of that blood off of that baby, because the predators can smell the blood. And she'll make sure those kits are clean. And then again, taking a separate Q-tip and putting a small amount of ink on there. And every time I do this, I have to make sure I close this back. And again, it will dry out. Oh, he's still bleeding a lot. I must have got that vein real good. Just rub it in there. And it's important to take some time and calm them down after this process, because I'm sure it just startles them. Poor babies. And I remember the very first time I did this, oh my goodness, I was so nervous, so nervous. I didn't want to hurt the baby, and it was stressful. But now it's like I've done it so much, and I've come to terms that it really doesn't hurt them. I'm not a bunny, and I really don't know. I'm sure it causes them some kind of pain or ache. I'm just trying to straighten this towel out for the next one. And again, what am I doing? Separate cotton ball. And I have everything on that other side. I thought it was, in order to where I just know where everything's at over there on that side. And I try to do this process, like wet the cotton ball before I get them out, because you don't want to sit there and the bunny, just in case one of them wants to try to get away from you, you don't want to sit there and try to wet the cotton ball with alcohol. And again, cleaning the ear, very important. Even though I never see anything on the cotton ball, but I just do it. Makes me feel better. The main thing when doing this is lining that and making sure there's no wrinkles in that ear, and lining that thing up just right in that ear, because their ears are still a little bit small at this point at 5 weeks. Oh, I saw we, baby. Uh-oh. Might have a runaway. I don't know if this is the caster that got out, and he might be a little bit aggravated, him or her, because one of them's a girl. Might be a little bit aggravated with me already. I don't know if this is the one, because the casters, they look the same. And I've tried to find like different markings on them to tell them apart. There's really no way to tell them apart. I know sometimes they can be have like little shaded marks on their tummy area. I don't know if these two, I need to look at them again. But now they're old enough I can tell if they're male or female to tell them apart. But if both of them were males, then I might not be able to tell them apart. And again, I'm putting a small amount of the ink on there. Trying to make sure it looks okay. And rubby-dub-dub in that ear. And I wonder if this soothes that process a little bit for them by adding that, like if you get a bite or something and you put alcohol on it, how it soothes it a little bit. I wonder if that's the same for them. I don't really know. I'm just getting the ink off my fingers with a dirty cotton ball. but it's got alcohol on it, so it gets the job done. And a fresh cotton ball. And I squeeze it a little bit to get so it won't be drippy. You don't want it drippy. It'll be messy like that. Guess I'm not going to straighten my towel out again on this one. I'm surprised. There's the other caster. Now this may have been the one that got out. And see, I try to calm them down a little bit. I don't take too much time trying to calm them because it's just quicker if you just get them out and do it. But they do need to be calmed down to an extent. But this one's acting really good, so. I'm just checking the ear. I think whenever I do this, I'm looking for the bang. But like I said, it's pretty hard to avoid the bang. Oh, that one got away. But I caught him. I must have cut that out. Oh my goodness. This must have been the one that got out earlier because it's just a little too feisty. He's probably traumatized from me grabbing him and putting him back in the pen whenever I was working with the other one. So I don't blame him for acting like that. I don't like grabbing the bunnies like that because it probably does terrify them a little bit. And this one bled a little bit. And they will make a little squealing noise after you do it. I think all of hers did it so far. All of them squealed. Except for maybe one didn't. I'm not sure. Can't remember. And again, a little bit. I think I put too much ink in there. Because this is the fourth one. I only got one more to do, I think. And again, I'm just rubbing it in there really good. And I know there is another way you can tattoo them with a pen, I think. I don't know if I mentioned that already. But to me, the pen thing would take too long because I think you have to still put sort of like the engraving in there first. And then you have to go back and put the ink in there. For me, this is easier for me because you just do it one time, you just clamp it one time, and it's done. The markings are in there, and then go in there with the ink. And you just have to do whatever's easier for you. And y'all can get online and, do some research before y'all actually go out and buy the things that I did, if y'all are even interested in doing this. I do it because whoever they're adopted off to, I just want to make it easier for them, to keep up with the age of their bunny. And that's the only purpose for this. And it not only helps them, it helps me because sometimes I don't adopt them off until they're older. So, and if I have to go, because that's usually the first thing they want to know is how old are they. So it makes it easier for me. And again, a clean Q-tip. I guess that's ink on my finger there. And this is Suki. She's not being so calm. I've actually taken up a lot of time with her because I have decided that I am keeping her for a future breeding rabbit. I just love her. I thought she was gonna, I know y'all have heard me say this, but I thought I was gonna get a white mini Rex. But that's okay, I love her. And I was totally shocked when the markings came up on her ears. The black and the brown spots on her ears, which she is a tri. So, come on, Silky, be still, baby. And she's the runt of the litter. And that's not why I kept her. I kept her because I liked her right off the bat, as soon as I saw her. And I was like, oh, please let her be a girl. If she's a girl, I'm keeping her. And she is a girl. Oh, I wanted her to be a girl so bad. I just don't know what I'm going to get from her. I don't know if she's a Charlie. I'm sorry, Suki. Oh, and her ears were actually smaller, I guess because she's the runt. She's the smallest one, period. But her ears, and I don't know why she's not being still because I take up time with her. I wonder if she smelt the blood on her brother and it sort of got her agitated, maybe. She's not used to me covering up her face either. It's not really helping her in this case. She's so little. I think she's the one that I had the biggest problem with during this whole process. She does not want to be still. Come on, Silky. Silky, Silky. Poor baby. Oh. And another thing, like I said, I probably should have waited another week for her to do this because her ear was very, very small. Is very small. Uh-oh, I might be getting it. Oh, sorry, Silky. Sorry, baby. I'm going to give her a minute. I am going to inspect it. I don't know, it seems like after the process she sort of calmed down a little bit. Poor baby. I'm sorry, Silky. Oh. I took extra time with her because it was hard for me to do it to begin with. And if you have like little runts in your litter, then it is going to be harder to do. And she is definitely a runt. And I favor the runts. I like them. I just believe the runts are the best ones out of the litter. Even though I love all of my bunnies. Poor Silky, Silky. With hers, it was harder to put that ink in there too because her ear was so small. There she is. Oh, I guess I'm going to sex her again to make sure she's a girl. I'm going to try to show y'all she's a girl. And their feet get stained up like this also. Can't really see anything. But she's a girl. I was hoping y'all could see it a little bit better, but I'm always trying to sex the bunnies. Because one time I was wrong whenever I sexed them. I kept a castor and it turned out to be a boy, and I kept it right up until the time it was almost ready to breed them. And this, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I didn't realize I did a sexing video in this. But I figured, I guess I had everything set up. Let me go ahead and do it. And this is at 5 weeks. I pretty much determined for sure if they were boys or girls. And I've gotten better at it, sexing them. That is a little boy. You can't really see anything, but it's a little boy. I'm really trying to look. I can't really see anything. I don't know if there's a way to zoom in on here. I know I've tried to zoom in on these videos, but whenever I do, it zooms in the whole video. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that's a boy. My little tricolored baby. It's okay, baby. I'm sorry. Had to tattoo that ear. Trying to show you the little markings on there. He's got some beautiful markings. Beautiful markings. I do love my bunnies. I do, baby. And then the dark circles around the eyes. And Suki actually doesn't have that around her eyes, but she is a tri because she's got the tri markings on her ear. So that puts her in the 3-color category. And see the dark circles? Suki does not have that. Beautiful baby. Beautiful, beautiful tri. Oh, they like to poop whenever I'm trying to do this. Boing. And that's a boy. Him's a boy. Oh, yeah. You can see it that time whenever I turned it sideways. You might want to rewind it a little bit, but you can see the little volcano for sure. Your volcano's growing. Beautiful tri, baby. I really do feel bad when they get their ears tattooed, but it's got to be done for me. I'm sorry, baby. And now, the cleanup process. Unscrewing this, and what I'm gonna do is gather all these up, and that's alcohol in there, the alcohol that I used, because everything that went in there was clean. And take another Q-tip. Dip it in some alcohol. Now this is probably just me being extra. Just going to gather the rest of that up. And I'm going to clean this really good. Like I said, me being extra. You probably don't have to do all that. Because the Q-tip is clean, but anyway. Let me do my thing. Now this is optional. If you want to clean the pliers, then by all means go right ahead. If you don't, then don't. But I did. Clean. Yay. And then I put the lid on here. And I shake them all about. And it's going to go on the floor a little bit, but it's alcohol. Doesn't matter. It's all good. Shake, 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 shake. Then I'm going to take a paper towel. Another paper towel. Dry this out really good. Only had alcohol in it. No biggie. All clean. Dry that out a little bit. All clean. Yay. Just trying to put some of the messy stuff on there. All the Q-tips that I used and the cotton balls that I used. Put all that stuff on there. I think it was already sitting on a paper towel. I'm just going to set that to the side. And this is the fun part. Not really. This is a dry paper towel. Just getting all the extra. There's not really that much in there. Just a little bit. So yeah, I guess I did waste a little bit on this one. It takes a few paper towels to get all of this out. This is the messy part. It's really not that bad. But you always want to clean everything after you finish using it, because if you leave the ink, especially the ink, sitting in there and you go back to use it the next time, guess what you got to do? Before you can even start this process, you're going to have to clean everything up. And you got all your materials out, so why not go ahead and clean it up now? Which I really wouldn't imagine anybody putting anything back dirty. But I imagine some people do. Who knows, they could be running short of time and really didn't have time to do this to begin with, so they're just... But anyway, this is just what I do. And trust me, these are very cheap paper towels. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Y'all can only imagine where I got them from. And then I'm going to take these. These are the numbers and letters that I used. I'm just going to take them out of there. And before I run out of video, and that's the alcohol, just pouring it in there where the ink was, drying this out. Thank y'all. I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in and watching. And please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like it. And then I'm just drying the little lid off. And these I usually just fold them up in a napkin and put them in the thing, because just in case they're still a little wet and have alcohol on them, I just wrap them up. If you remember at the beginning of the video, I unwrapped some that was in a paper towel. So that's what I do, because I don't want to put them back in with the other ones. I just bottle it up, and I'm going to put it in the little carrying case. This was actually cheap too. I paid the same price for that little box, that little toolbox, as I did the roll of paper towels. And all of those little containers too. All the same price. Those pliers surely was not that price. But I just organized my stuff, put it all back in here after everything's cleaned up real good. It just makes it easier and convenient for the next go round. And sometimes I go the extra mile, like I have 2 more litters coming up that I'm going to have to tattoo, and usually I'll go in there and pull theirs, like their date of birth when they were born, and get them ready. I'll put them in another paper towel. And right here I'm just soaking up that alcohol, which is going to finish cleaning up this little container, because this is the hardest container to clean. It's the one with the ink. And I'm recycling the alcohol also. If you notice, I don't think I went back for the alcohol during the cleanup process. So it's all recycled, even though I paid the same price for the alcohol as I did everything else, the little box and all the little containers. Like I said, I don't know if I can throw any names out there, so I don't know that yet. Oh, if anybody knows if I can or cannot, please leave something in the comments below. That would help me out. That way I can actually say some names of the places that I get this stuff from, because I'm new to this. That would actually help me out a lot. And thank y'all in advance. And I'm just finishing up here. And thank y'all so much for tuning in. I know this was an extra long video, and I appreciate y'all's patience, and I appreciate y'all watching it all the way through. Until next time, you guys, be safe. Bye-bye.